Would you pray with me a moment? Open my lips that my mouth might show forth your praise. And may the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, our strength and our resurrection. Amen. As you've just heard, that first Easter didn't go so well. The women go to the tomb to pay their respects and to take care of the body of their beloved. But as we've heard, they are mourning, but mostly they're worried. They're worried about who is going to remove the enormous stone over the tomb. Quite bluntly, they're not prepared for resurrection. After all, who is? They're not thinking about resurrection. I mean, who does? They don't even really want resurrection. Do we? What they want is a proper burial. They want to close the book on Good Friday. And when they get there, there's a first hint that things are not going to go according to plan. The stone's been moved. The tomb is open. Huh? That's odd. And then there's this second thing that shows it isn't going according to plan, and it's more than a hint. It's a shining angel. That's more than odd. Do not be alarmed, says the angel. That's easy for you to say. See, that line didn't get into the Bible, but I put it there. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. I can imagine they thought, oh, okay, we came to the right place at least. He has been raised. He's not here. Well, what can you say to that? And that's not a rhetorical question this morning. What could any of us have said to that? I guess you'd have to say, you have to see it to believe it, right? Which is exactly where Mark's telling of Easter is going. And exactly where Easter is always going, which is why Easter doesn't go too well. There is no risen Christ in Mark's Easter story, just this angel who says, go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going ahead of you into Galilee. Notice he says, you, not them, and you go too. There you will see him just as he told you. And just like that, they run away, having been seized by terror and amazement. And that, my friends, is totally believable. Which one of us wouldn't have run too? Well, maybe not the youngest. The youngest amongst us who still believe in things that the rest of us grown-ups think are impossible. You know, it occurs to me every Easter, all year long really, that we grown-ups believe with all our hearts in the certainty of impossibility. And we would run too. We do run physically and intellectually and spiritually whenever our certainties about what is impossible begin to crack. Whenever they are shown to be less than definitively impossible. No risen Jesus and women running away and telling no one. Like I said, that first Easter didn't go well. And by well, I mean there is no triumphant, heroic, happy ending with all the loose ends wrapped up with a nice bow. Mark's telling is not a Hollywood movie. That's where it ends. This original text, probably the oldest version we have of Easter, right there. It ends telling no one, for they were afraid. Now, as we heard Keith read, someone else probably felt that that wasn't good enough and added another ending, but it didn't get any better. It did get more believable. The women go tell the disciples this time, and the disciples don't believe them. Fair enough. we probably wouldn't have believed them either, right? We probably don't believe them when we hear this story read to us on Easter morning. Then there are these two other disciples who Jesus comes to in another form on the same day. And they go and tell the disciples too. And they don't believe them either. Why start now? And finally, Jesus comes to all the 11 disciples who are in the upper room and upbraids them for their lack of faith and their stubbornness. Which brings us to us, and Easter not going well, as in Easter not being wrapped up conclusively. Now, contrary to how we celebrate Easter every Easter with big music and plants and the silver's out and we're all dressed in white and the church is full and it's huge, Easter is really not a triumphant victory parade with a full stop, after which we all go home, yay, Easter, we won. And somehow, we're not quite sure our winning makes all the difference. No, Easter, as told to us by Mark, is actually the gentlest of invitations. Do you want to live resurrection? And I know you're probably feeling a little bit of that amazement and terror right now and thinking about running or clicking off this screen and going to do something else. You see, when you hear that question, do you want to live resurrection? We, all of us, come face to face with our certainty about impossibility. No, not me, not my life, not here and now. That would be impossible. Or, that might be nice, but not right now. You see, I have to go to an Easter egg hunt, and then I'm going to go home and have lunch with my family, and then I'm going to walk the dog, and I have a lot of things to do, and I have work tomorrow, so I don't have time for resurrection right now. Or, deep down, I don't even know what that would look like or how I would live that, so how can I possibly say yes? You see, everything but yes ends up being no in life. Only yes is yes. And seeing truly is believing. And the invitation of that angel is actually to each of us to look, to meet the risen Jesus in our everyday, ordinary Galilees, which we call Dover and Westwood and Medfield and wherever you are right now watching this. The places where we live and breathe and work and play and love. And my question to you, as the conveyor of this good news, is this. What in your life seems like an impossibility keeping you from living the possibilities? What, if it could shift, would feel like an enormous stone being rolled away from a space where you are stuck inside? And if you could imagine that, it would make looking for Jesus in your life something that you would start doing. It'd be worth doing. Now, I am not talking about living the dream or winning the lottery or being the next great quarterback for the Patriots or even inventing the next tech marvel. I am talking about the possibility of the gospel promises, the possibility of happiness, the possibility of being able to channel the suffering in our life towards hope, of living with real gratitude, and being a person of loving kindness, being in lovingly kind relationships with our neighbors, our family, our friends. The possibility of actually feeling whole and not broken. The possibility of living from our hearts rather than going out of our minds. What the story does not tell us is that it is a 4-day walk from Jerusalem to Galilee. The angel and Jesus are not giving the disciples, the women, or us a quick fix. They have 4 days to think about it. And then when they get there, they have to find Jesus in their old stomping grounds. My friends, each of us is invited. Each of us is invited to walk our own walk and look for our own signs of resurrection along the way. To dig into the places where we would love to see life coming out of death, because that would make all the difference. Then, and only then, will we truly see and believe. May it be so. Happy Easter.